Oi. Listen, we said what needed to be said at the end of the day. Yeah. And
there's so much more to it, though. We could go on for another hour or two just
forever,
chatting shit because there's so much more.
And I noticed that a lot of podcasts that I watched, Newcastle podcast, they're all saying the same thing, but they're scared to say that they want Eddie Howe out and that he should be sacked. Yeah, they're saying that, questions need to be asked about now. He's got some questions to answer. No.
Yeah, True Faith are doing it. True Faith are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I listened to today. Alex is just like, he's like, I want to see that. It's like, bro, just say it.
Just say it.
It's the elephant in the room, but they don't want to say it because
I don't know why they're so shook.
I don't know what it is. I don't think it's a Geordie thing. They feel like so thankful for him and like it's like, bro, man,
small club mentality.
End of the day, like,
look what City did with Mark Hughes. I'm not saying we're the same, but they realized that Mark Hughes, he took him to where they
Eddie Howe is our Mark Hughes.
And the thing is, that's it, because no big players are not going to come to play for Eddie Howe now, are they? They're not.
And we've clung on too long.
Yeah.
He ain't got no clue, man.
The one he should have gone because it's factual. I know he had injuries, but the fact is you still failed. You had it with 3 games.
3 games to go. That's the one.
Chelsea should not have caught us in the way that they did.
Exactly.
So
it is criminal with that.
Meet our objective. You have failed, and that's backed up by the poor results of the season. So if DIF was smart, they would have got their own person in straight away.
You see Gordon, right? Because listen, Gordon's head's gone. He's not in it. Yeah, he's like he don't want to be here, right? But I didn't see it. But you see, he got subbed right yesterday. Did he get subbed?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, I saw Eddie switch. He was like, "Come off." Did you see it?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bro. So, I'm telling you, words were had in that change room, bro. And I'm telling you, Gordon does not want to be here. His head is gone. And the thing is, the worst thing about it, though, he had his heart set on Liverpool, right? And we know that. But Diaz is putting up trees over there. So Liverpool might say,
they're not selling Diaz now. They're not selling Diaz now.
So he knows he's stuck. He's stuck. Yeah, and Eddie Howe keep putting him on the right. I'm not saying that's wrong because Barnes is playing well on the left, but when he's shepherding him on the right now, he's putting his nose out of place, bro. Like he don't want to be on the right hand side. Yeah?
His body language, man, was just like he was sulking and everything.
It's mad.
But the thing is, everyone's got mad language at the moment. You can just see it. Isak just looks pissed off. Bro. But when that position with Sean, he was just
telling you, there must have been some serious conversations in that change room at full time.
Bro, they must be falling out of each other because
I'm telling you,
brotherhood or not, it's just like it gets to a point you're just like, my guy, you are pissing me off. You are actually pissing me off.
All game, he kept throwing his arms in the air.
Yeah.
When he was receiving the ball, it was like, what are you gonna do with it? They're giving you the ball, you're not doing anything with it.
Did you see? I noticed at the end of full time against Wolves, right? Eddie Howe was saying about, he stressed that, we need to be connected as one as a team if we're going to succeed, bro. I think that's him saying that, bro. All is not rosy behind the scenes, bro. In the change room, bro. Yeah, I think they're on a different thing. People are clashing. They don't want to play for him. I think they're fed up of him. I think it's. But look at Bruno. Yeah, Bruno's getting away with murder because everyone's been on long staff, whatever, and sometimes Joe Linton. Bruno has been pathetic, right? And I know he come up with that dead apology yesterday, but who cares, bro? Who cares? You were garbage, yeah, and you've been playing garbage, yeah. But again, you made him captain because you want him to say, bro, he's not a £100 million player. He's talking like a 40 million player at the moment, bro.
Do you think him and Joe Linton are feeling a type of way because Miggy's been dropped? Because Miggy is their friend, and also that Tonali's their friend as well. Tonali hasn't been playing. So the Latin players, do you think they're a bit like they're not happy with Eddie at the moment? And stuff?
I think that could be a thing, bro, and also because they realise that, bro, especially with Tonali, bro, yeah. Why is this brother not starting? They're looking at him like, bro, why are you not starting with us to help us in midfield? Why are you not doing it?
He needs your help. Yeah,
that's why I don't get of like. We brought this player for a particular reason. There's a reason, right? Unless that reason is no longer at the club, who was Ashworth.
I wouldn't have signed him because I just think he's got too many of the same attributes as Bruno.
Well, it didn't make sense.
He's a better passer of the ball than Bruno, but they're effectively the same player.
Yeah,
I thought it was a waste of money when we signed him.
And to be honest, when the reality was in the summer that like if Bruno did leave, part of us were thinking that like at least Tonali's there because then.
And I think slyly that might have been the thinking. I think they might have expected to lose Bruno and have Tonali in. But obviously, when the 10-month ban come in, they've had to. Regardless, they're grateful that they held on to Bruno. But in the summer, I think they expected Man City to come in and trigger his release clause, or even Arsenal, and he'd have to go, right? Now I don't understand the whole captaincy thing, because you just basically, maybe because he's so committed to us, you just said, you know what, right? Thank you for your loyalty, blah blah blah. We're going to make you captain. It made no sense. But and maybe Eddie thinks that they can't play together, Bruno and Tonali, because they're so similar. I don't know.
And if you look at the whole situation with Trippier as well, Trippier got the captaincy taken away from him, and he must feel a way about that. I feel like there's so many different pockets of, like, if you look at the detail deeply, and like Trippier went for some personal stuff as well, which we won't get into now. I'm not going to get into that because it's his business, isn't it? But we're talking about on the pitch, isn't it? And
you look at every single player, right? So from goalkeeper, we were linked to Mamadashvili and James Trafford, right? So immediately Pope thinking, "Raw, are they trying to tell me something?" Right? Then you've got, I'm not saying it's wrong, by the way, but then you've got the whole situation with Trippier, right, which you just mentioned. You've got Fabian Schär, when the whole time Eddie Howe's been wanting Mark Guehi. What does that say about Fabian Schär, bro? Yeah, you're obsessed with Mark Guehi, bro.
And he hasn't got a new deal yet, and it expires at the end of the season.
Like, I'm still here, right? You've got Burn. Right, Burn, he's happy to be there, right? Don't get me wrong, but he knows he's on borrowed time, because when Botman comes back and he's fit, he should be get back in the team, right? Then you've got the left back situation when Lloyd Kelly or Lewis Hall don't know where they're coming or going, because they're going to be chopped and changed every single game. Yeah, obviously Target. I don't know if he's fit or not, but he can't get in the squad, right? Midfield, the whole Tonali situation. Yeah, the whole Tonali situation that he's not playing, right? Longstaff, no fault his own, but the fans are on him, right? The fans are on him 24/7, so he knows any mistake he makes is going to be magnified, right? And then he gets dropped now for Willock, right? It's going to cause Willock a problem, because Eddie Howe's comments about, and he singled out Willock about he shouldn't have started Willock, right? Because he's made the mistake now. He maybe shouldn't have done that. So Willock ain't going to see 13 football for a long time, especially in the big games, right?
And this is the thing as well, just to pause you there a little bit, is that we're now starting to see the little introduction of, like, the manager putting blame on the players.
This is it.
Right? You're not seeing it, but slowly it's coming in, because it's just like,
you know what happens when you start doing that, players start downing tools, it starts causing friction, and the players ain't leaving, the manager will leave, right? Then you've got the forward situation where obviously Miggy now, as much as he's digging his heels in, he's not seen a minute of game time, or very limited minutes, right?
Which is kind of insulting, because he could at least have 15 minutes here, right? 20 minutes there, isn't it?
Because just to say, obviously we've been harsh critiques of, like, Almiron, obviously, but we kind of all agree that like I don't think he's no longer a starter, and that's what we kind of said.
Right.
But
if you're going to be here,
the fact he's particularly just been dropped completely, like, my man ain't getting in a single look in. Like, it's just like, especially when we know that technically speaking, we've only got two people who play on the right, and I'm not going to talk about Barnes and Gordon play on the right, because they shouldn't play on the right, and that's the problem as well, because you're forcing players to play on the weaker sides.
And this is it. Gordon does not want to play on the right. Barnes don't want to play on the right? So it's either, and Eddie Howe's like, either you're both playing switch, or one of you holds the bench. And it's at the moment, it's Harvey Barnes who's scoring, but it's still more likely to be benched than Gordon. We already spoke about Gordon's situation as well, and there seems to be some sort of tension between him and Eddie Howe now. Gordon's not on it. So across the board, right?
Did you see that switch yesterday?
Bro, that's the only thing I have seen.
Even like when Asula, it was weird. He was talking to Asula at the same time, giving him instructions, but that look he gave Anthony Gordon, he was like, "Come on, get off."
Right.
And then you see Gordon, he was like, "All right then."
Yeah, see, and then you go with Asula, right? Asula's been brought in, right? And when there's a striker shortage now, whatever, he still can't get on the pitch, bro. Like, this is crazy, bro. There's not a single happy player in that camp, bro.
I think.
Remember, you've got Lascelles there, who he was the captain. Now he's been promoted to club captain
on his day off, because he can't even get the because injured, bro. You know what I mean? It's so techie at the moment. I'm telling you, Eddie Howe he's not lasting. And the fact that you see that our back performance and you refuse to change things, bro. You don't care, bro. Maybe he's pissed that the England didn't come in for him or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe as well. Yeah.
The interview that he gave as well. Like, and also it doesn't help that every press conference that he gives, they're asking about. Did you see that before the game, the reporter asked him about, have you spoken to Mitchell?
Mitchell,
and he said, oh, you know, I'm not really want to answer that anymore. Like you keep asking me that, I'm going to give you the same response, blah blah whatever. So you know, I don't think we need to speak. But I've spoken to I've spoken to the seniors. That is what he said. No lie. Craig Hope was the next question. So have you spoken to Mitchell then, bruv? You could tell he was fuming, bruv. Fuming. The family to on to Cope with that. Like, are you deaf? Like, bruv, he just said it. Why are you going to try antagonize him? So he must has also be fed up and stuff, because especially if you don't get on with Mitchell, like it's all bubbling. It's all bubbling.
He's got off scot-free though, Eddie. Because if you look at a lot of the managers of the past, the local press would kill them. All of them.
I know. You know. I feel like
Eddie's got off scot-free for a while.
That's why I feel like the Geordies are they're too nice in a way. I don't know. It just feels a bit.
They're very appreciative. They're over appreciative, because at the end of the day, and I get it, because at the end of the day, the man saved us from relegation, took us to Champions League for the first time in how many years, got to a cup final as well. We have to remember that, even though we did underperform in that, and he got us. 7th place finish is disappointing, but they're thinking of this. We're used to finishing 13th and this, that, and the third, whatever. That's fine. But are you happy with the same thing now every season? Because when Amanda Staveley came in, she was talking about winning the league in 5 years. Yeah, obviously that's not going to happen. But how are you going to progress?
But if they got the decisions right, I'm not saying it's possible, but it could be possible. Well, I know it sounds a bit wild, but let's just say if they'd got every decision right every step of the way, we could be contesting top 2, top 3. You just never know, because Liverpool, I know they've got strength in depth, but they're still shaky. You know, when Salah ain't on form, they seem to kind of.
This was the season to do it, though. If you want to win the league, this is probably the season to do it, because you got less distractions. Also, I do want to say this as well, and we've spoken about this before off air and stuff like that. But this whole England thing as well, people have got to be careful what you wish for, because I'm telling you now, Eddie Howe is Gareth Southgate 2.0.
Yeah,
because a lot of other fans,
isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of fans of other clubs and stuff, they see stuff and they don't really, people are just like, you hear a lot of people like, yeah, Eddie Howe be good for England, this and that, but I'm just like, I'm telling you now, it will be the same thing for England. And people, I'm thinking, what's about England? You got the whole nation talking about this. At the moment, it's just a subset of Newcastle fans talking about this. But when he turns up to England, he's playing 4-3-3 formation, and everyone's just like, you're not playing Declan Rice, and people are going to be like, play the defensive midfielder. It's just going to get.
Could you imagine him not playing a defensive midfielder in international football? You can't have 3 8s running around. I think the only team I've seen effectively use that in international football is Croatia in 2018, where I think they had Modric, Rakitic, and Brozovic as like a floating 8s.
Yeah,
but they were all. They had so much energy. They were closing people down like mad.
But also they have really good cohesion about each other.
And good technical ability. They can all use the ball.
They are players. They could be blindfolded and know where my man is.
But the problem, what about, I don't know what's even worse, bro, is the fact that he goes to England and he does play defensive midfielder, bro. When all this time we've been screaming for it.
I will go Wembley myself and choke him. Do you know how many games? Do you know how many? I'll choke him out, man. I'll be like, listen, putting me through this stress, man. Yeah. Even now, you potentially
wild call-ups as well.
Yeah, he'll pick his favorites.
Given the fixtures that we've got ahead, right? Do you think that we will be? Because what are we now? 6th at the moment. Is it 6th?
Right, man. We're slipping on oil, man.
Are we going to be like 10th? Do you reckon, after those games? 10th or bottom half?
It's very possible, bro.
Yeah.
It's very possible. You'd have to look at what each of these teams have next. I guess Forest. I don't know what Forest have next, because they're behind Brighton.
I think you have to look at also these teams that are just going to significantly going to start creating gaps, like Villa. I'm telling you, oh man, it's hard. It's going to be
Forest are home for Fulham.
Our competition: Chelsea, Villa. Okay, I'll call Liverpool into that as well. I won't call Man U into that, but they're that kind of team, though. I've seen Rashford scoring some goals, but I know it's a cup game the other day, but they're gonna. I don't know.
Rashford got dropped, didn't he, in the last game?
Yeah.
Palace game, yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. Man United played well yesterday. They played well. If lack of finishing, don't get me wrong, Palace had probably the 2 best chances of the game.
Right.
But overall, Manchester United, they played some good, neat football. And if they had a finisher, Highland just come off the bench, so he's not fit, whatever. But they look pretty decent, I'm not going to lie. We won't play like that at Sellers Park, bro. We will get moved at Sellers Park. But they actually looked, that things are starting. There was promising signs there. Yeah, there's promising signs there. So that's
I think also some of their key players are starting to gel in a bit more as well. So the recent signings.
Yeah, that's.
But I'll tell you, man, these next 5 fixtures
they're horrible, bro.
But the thing is, the one thing I will say, and I think I told you guys as well, I wasn't even upset when we lost against Fulham. I wasn't even upset, and that's saying a lot now because it's like I'm kind of expecting.
Yeah, listen, because the way we performed, we knew that you couldn't sustain this. It had to come somewhere. And when we started mentioning, I think Jefferson mentioned on the last pod, the small pitch. We never play well on a small pitch. And I think I told it to you before. Do you know what it did for me? When I saw Bruno and Tonali dyeing their hair, bruv, with that nonsense, bruv. I knew it's going to be a long day.
When they dye their hair.
Didn't they do their cup final or something like that as well? Like every time they do it, we don't perform well. Like,
you might be right. I need to check the history on that, but I think when they do it, it is a bit of a like.
And I'm telling you, Everton are going to embarrass us. Yeah, we are not coming away with a win or even a point, bro. I think Everton are going to be up for it, especially the Anthony Gordon thing as well, bro. They're going to on TV as well. That's the worst thing about it. That's
another thing, that all of these next up and coming games are going to be on TV. So there's no.
Brighton's not. That's the only
Brighton's
one.
not.
You know, last season, right? You know, last season, considering how bad the season was, and Bruno had to play with Lewis Miley and Longstaff for a majority of the season. If you look at last season, this was the season to sell him, you know, because in all comps, he had 17 goal contributions, which is freakish as a defensive midfielder. He had 7 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League, and then he had an assist in the Champions League, an assist in the FA Cup. Now, according to Transfer Market, he's worth 85 million euros at the moment. So in the summer, this summer just gone, I must admit, that was the time to sell him.
So sold him, my stock was high.
Yeah, his stock was really high. And actually, his overall stats for us is he's played 113 games and he's got 34 goal contributions. Considering he's played a majority of them as a 6, it just shows how talented he is. So I am very, very shocked that no one was willing to pay the money we wanted. Because actually, stats-wise, last season he actually had a good season. Imagine if he had Joe Linton, because remember Joe Linton was injured for 4 months. Tonali was banned. If he had the quality around him, he would have been even better.
Yeah.
So it shows how much his levels have significantly dropped.
I think in that situation, if you look at it as well, there was some immense pressure on him, because you can't really put pressure on Miley. Definitely not. And I'm still upset about that, actually, because we run Miley into the ground and now you can't even see him now. He's just missing.
Yeah, I don't know where
because that's another player that would add into the rotation quite nicely. I really like Miley. But just to say, but Bruno as well, that people do forget is that, I don't know, man, it's affecting international as well. He got subbed at half time against I think it was Paraguay. He got subbed off and stuff, and I think the Brazil fans are on him a little bit of like,
Tim Vickery was cussing him. Tim
Vickery
was cussing him, bruv. And he never normally cusses players.